All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome again to this meeting of the Orange County School Board. I want to thank you for giving up your Tuesday evening to come spend it with us for a little while. We have a very special guest tonight who's going to lead us in our moment of silence and our pledge, and that is Siona Mishra. And Siona recently returned from Washington, D.C., where she participated in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. And she is a student at our very own Orlando Science School, and we're so very, very proud. It's one of our best charter schools. And actually, Siona, I saw you on that program, and I told our folks, oh my gosh, we've got an Orlando girl in the finals, no less. So we had to get you down here, and thank you for coming. And if you could come on up to the podium there, we'll go ahead and have you lead us in a moment of silence and the pledge. And as we do, Siona, let me say one more thing, please, honey. If I could ask everybody during the moment of silence to please keep in mind the Pulse victims from last year. As we all know, it was the anniversary of that tragic event, probably a defining moment in Orlando's history. So please keep the victims and their families in mind during our moment of silence. Siona?
Will you please stand and bow your heads for a moment of silence? Thank you. And now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Well, congratulations again, Siona. We are so very, very proud of you. Let me tell the audience a little bit and those watching at home a little bit about you and brag on you a little bit. Siona, as I mentioned, is an 8th grader. She is a student at Orlando Science School, which is one of our charter schools and one of our highest performing charter schools in Orange County. We're so very, very proud of it. She entered the National Spelling Bee, progressed all the way up through the local ranks, the state ranks, and made it all the way to Washington, D.C., where she finished 23rd overall in the competition, which is quite the accomplishment.
Thank you.
And we're going to ask her, and you know what, board members? I'm going to go totally off script here, and we're going to ask Siona, can you share with us some of the words that you had to spell? And I want y'all to take out your pens and be honest, okay? The honor system. Anybody in the audience, too, that has their pen. Let's see if we can spell some of the words that you got, okay? We'll probably fail miserably, I'm sure.
One of the words I got was Titian.
Was what?
Titian, which is a hair color.
Okay. I love how in the B they go, can you repeat that for a moment, please? Can you tell me the etymology? Titian, which is a hair color. Okay. I'm going to take a shot. I don't see anybody out there writing. Come on, guys. If we're going to embarrass ourselves, we expect you to. All right. Give us another one.
Takata.
Kakata?
Takata.
Tikata.
Takata.
And what is it we're allowed to ask again? I love watching this.
You can ask for the definition, the origin, the part of speech, any alternate pronunciations, and if you can use it in a sentence.
Okay, can you give us a definition and the origin?
Toccata is a musical piece, and it comes from Italian.
Okay, give us one more.
Corriedale.
Can you pronounce it again, please?
Corriedale.
Corriedale. And definition and origin?
It's a breed of sheep that's in the Americas, New Zealand, and in the U.S. And it comes from a geographical name in Australia.
It's Corey. Yeah, great. All right, can you tell I'm competitive? This is called Beat the Chairman. You get a Snickers if you miss. Who wants to go first? Yeah, you spell them. That's better. Yeah, thank you. That's better. Okay, spell the first one, Titian.
T-I-T-I-A-N.
Ah, okay. I got that. You got. Superintendent, you're not allowed to play. We expect you to get all of them. We can embarrass ourselves. We can't embarrass the superintendent. Okay. All right, and the next one?
Takata is Toccata.
Oh, I'm not even close. Okay.
Oh, I had two teeth. I had two teeth.
Go ahead, rub it in, Dr. Jenkins. Got it. All right, and the last one?
Corriedale is spelled Corriedale.
Oh, my gosh. I just got bounced at the local school level. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
And we'd love to shake your hand.
All right.
And behind every great student and great speller are great parents and great teachers. Can I have Shauna's parents please stand? Where did they go? There's her mother. Please stand. Thank you for raising such a wonderful young girl. And is that her father? And I think we're also joined by the principal of Orlando, or are you one of the instructors, or?
I'm the community outreach reporter, and actually our executive director, Dr. King, is here as well.
Okay, Becca, right? Yeah, good to see you, Becky. Yeah, and good to see you. I didn't see you back there. Thank you for doing such a wonderful job. Thank you. And I understand that in the future we're going to be calling Shiana Dr. Mishra. She wants to be a medical doctor, and I have a feeling she will be. So congratulations again. All right, tonight we have another distinguished award to celebrate, and it was given to our very own OCPS Parent Academy. And in case some of you in the room may not know, we have been hosting a Parent Academy and events on a monthly basis since 2013 as a way to promote parental involvement and enhance student achievement. And I think credit is due where it's due, and this was really a brainstorm with Dr. Jenkins to brought it to our district, and it's just been a brilliant idea, Dr. Jenkins, so thank you for that. The events at our Parent Academy meetings are for parents, and they are hosted at various school locations across the district or online every month. Parents are invited to attend breakout sessions to learn from experts on how to become full partners in their children's education. The events are theme-focused, and they include discussions about digital curriculum, navigating graduation requirements and scholarships, preparing elementary school students for middle school, pathways to college and career readiness, and there are also a wide variety of topics for parents to gather information on how they can help their child become and be and remain successful in school. Which leads us to this exciting announcement. The OCPS Parent Academy is the grand prize winner of the 2017 Lori Horn Family Engagement Contest. Our Parent Academy Community Engagement Team was recognized during the 2017 National Family Engagement Summit in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm going to call their names. First of all, Javon Apont, who is the Senior Administrator for Family and Community Outreach. Javon, where are you? Could stand. Come on up. And Dr. Tricia Travis, who is our Liaison for Family and Community Engagement. Tricia, where are you? She wasn't able to make it. And they accepted the award on behalf of their team. And I'm going to ask their team to come up to the front as well because they do such hard work on this. Would Ms. Kim Gilbert, is Kim here tonight? Kim? No? Marie Valletta? Is Marie here tonight? Megan Crevier? Megan, did I come close? No. I just failed the spelling bee, so give me a hall pass. And Carolyn Greiner. Let's give it up for her team. What a wonderful job you all did. Thank you all for making us look so good, and we'd like to shake your hands as well. Our final recognition tonight is also a very special one. You may have noticed that we had quite the big check in front of the room during a photo opportunity before this meeting this evening. And for that, we want to publicly recognize Duke Energy for their $50,000 contribution to the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools. The money will be used in the classroom for math, science, and energy education teacher grants. And here on behalf of Duke Energy is somebody well known to us and just about everybody in the community. She's an incredible representative for Duke Energy, Miss Debbie Clemens, their community relations manager. Debbie, if you could come join us at the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we do appreciate the opportunity, or I appreciate the opportunity to highlight all the ways that Duke has partnered and continues to partner with Orange County Public Schools. I think this is the 13th time that since I've been with Duke that we've presented one of these large checks. So we have done a lot in terms of Duke Energy Foundation support. But then also this year, I think for the 4th year in a row, we're sending 2 middle school science teachers to the Keystone Science Institute in Keystone, Colorado, to help them learn collaborative learning, to bring back to teachers in their schools, and focus a lot on environmental type of education. Our energy auditors and account managers work very, very closely and extensively with the Orange County Public Schools facilities people to help the school system benefit from a lot of different types of energy rebates and savings in the schools. So it's a partnership that we value very deeply, and I appreciate you recognizing us tonight for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, so much for all that Duke does for us. Ms. Gould?
I just wanted to give a personal plug to both Debbie and to Duke Energy. They've been tremendous partners. The first year the Keystone scholarships came out, we were lucky enough to have a couple of teachers from District 4 go, and it was one of the most transformative teaching experiences they said they ever had. And it was just absolutely incredible. So thank you for that. And they've come back and shared that. They've brought those teachings and that excitement back to the core. And thank you for all you do for all the aspects of our community. Without you and partners like you, we just could not do what we do in education. And also, I'm so glad you're going to be chairman of the foundation board next year. For those of you who don't know, Ms. Clemens is the next in line for the chairmanship for the Foundation for OCPS. So, fantastic. Thank you.
I'll be around.
And that's a great segue. I also want to thank you for stepping up and not only serving on the foundation board, but serving as incoming chairman. It's a heavy lift, takes a ton of time. We're also joined tonight by current chairman Orman Yielding. Orman, if you could stand up and allow us to thank you as well for your service to public schools. And Orman and Debbie, do we have any of your board members with us tonight other than the two of you? If we have any board members, can you stand and let us recognize you as well? I don't think we do.
Pam
Ms. Gould, well, we don't count. But thank you for everything you do. All right, Dr. Jenkins, I hear young children out there, which means we get to do our favorite thing tonight, which is recognize newly appointed administrators and
Absolutely.
the families that they have brought with them. And I want to thank the children out there for being so incredibly well behaved this evening. You guys are doing terrific.
Thank you, Chairman. We do
Jenkins.
have several. Let me go through them as swiftly as possible if my microphone holders will race up and down the aisle. First, I have Shanita Adamson, who is a curriculum specialist for Pinellas County Schools. She's coming to be the assistant principal at Union Park Elementary. And I might add, we had a package deal because Darius Adamson is coming to be one of our executive area directors for the Southwest Learning Community as well. Shanita?
Hello, and I'd like to thank Chairman Sublett and all the board members, Dr. Jenkins and her entire staff, as well as everyone in the Union Park Elementary School community for allowing me to serve within the schools. This is my husband, Darius Adamson, and our son, Riley.
Want to thank Mr. Sublett, Chairman, and the board, Dr. Jenkins, for the opportunity to serve as the Executive Area Director of Southwest Learning Community, and excited to be here. Thank you.
So for the record, let me say for the other spouses that are here with your dear beloved appointees, we don't normally have package deals like that, so the rest of you work for free. Spouses, if your wife or your husband is a school administrator, you will be working. It's just that it is for free, and certainly want you to know how much we appreciate you as well. Unusual pair as a couple there. Let me also, for the sake of this list that is before me, ask all of our appointees, the board, the chairman, myself, my staff, we understand that you appreciate us. If you would reserve your comments to your personal thanks to either mentors and recognizing family members, that'll help us move things right along. So everybody here knows how much you appreciate the opportunity. We have faith in you that you're going to be able to do the work as well. Phew, now that takes away some of the pressure. All right, let's see how fast you can go and how well you follow instructions. Michelle Anderson, Administrative Dean at Avalon Middle, will be the new Assistant Principal at Avalon Middle.
Thank you for this opportunity. I do want to thank my mentor, Karen Furno, for the guidance and leadership that she's provided me over the years. To my dear friend, Amy, who's here tonight supporting me, thank you. To my family, to my parents, and of course to my husband, John, thank you so much for being there for me every step of the way.
John, you heard the comment about no pay for you, right? We're good. We're good. All right, Edme Figueroa Solis, resource teacher at Cypress Park Elementary, a new assistant principal at Durance Elementary.
Good evening. I would like to thank my family, my husband, Oscar, my mom, Belia, my youngest son, Angel, for the love and support in this journey. And I also would like to thank, I've been in Orange County for 15 years. I'm not gonna thank all the mentors I've had, but very special people in my life as a professional, Lindsay Smithstead, and Principal Gloria McGarvey. They've been my great mentors these past 2 years and have encouraged me to take this next step. Thank you.
I should add, mothers can volunteer as well. Mothers, how about every family member? Joyce Conley. Where are you? Joyce Conley was varying exceptionalities teacher at Independence. She will be the new assistant principal at Andover Elementary.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to thank my mentors, Mr. Gary Shadow and Dr. Angela Murphy Osborne, and my friend Nicole Hargret, my family who is here to support me. And lastly, thank you, Ms. Clayton, for welcoming me to Andover. Thank you.
Tanikia Cage, Administrative Dean at Bridgewater, will be the new Assistant Principal at Lockhart Middle.
Good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my mentors and those who have supported me during my entire time on this journey. First, I would like to thank Dr. Carl Cartwright. Without you, I would not be here. Thank you for the extra push. I would also like to thank my principal, Mrs. Lisa James, Mrs. April Davis LaRue, and Dr. Sharia Klingscales for believing in me even when I thought I didn't believe in myself. I would like to acknowledge my family who is present this evening. They're back here. I have my husband, Dwayne, my little girl, Anaya, who's celebrating her birthday today. I have my grandmother, who was 88 years young, and I'm more than blessed to have her here. My aunt and some of my very, very close friends, my father and my mother, who is probably on her way and missed this, but I love you anyway, Mom.
Daniel Huff will be the new principal at Howard Middle School.
I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my family who couldn't be here today. My wife Stephanie, my two sons Patrick and Daniel, my parents who are both career educators, and mentors I've had here in Orange County are, many of them are since retired, but Dr. Jan Pratt, Mr. Gene, Mr. Gene Kurchinski and Dr. John Edwards were very instrumental in my career here. I'm looking forward and excited to join the team and work and serve at Howard Middle School and work with the community, and also board member Nancy Robinson. Thank you.
Andrew Jackson, where's Andrew? Assistant principal, and Osceola will be the new principal at Bridgewater Middle School.
Thank you. I'm excited to serve the community, students, and staff at Bridgewater Middle School. I'm embarrassed by the number of people who are here to see me tonight, but I do have to recognize 3 mentors that directly influenced me. Mr. Edward Jones, thank you for all of the honest conversations and opportunities to grow and stealing me over to Osceola High School, but I got to say I'm glad to be back. James Larson, Dr. Larson, what an awesome team we had at West Orange High School. The most exciting time of my career actually was in that window. I'm sorry, Osceola wasn't that excited. And then last and probably most significant is Dr. Mike Armbruster. He's my biggest critic and greatest champion in the same conversation. And I am forever grateful for all of the honest conversations and the support. And last, my beautiful wife. Thank you for understanding that this is a calling and supporting me and living through it with me. Thank you.
Jason Jimenez will be the new assistant principal at Colonial High School.
Good evening. I'd like to thank my mentors, who 2 of them are here this evening and 1 is in absentia. The first mentor I'd like to recognize is Principal Valente from East River High School. Without his support and his guidance, I would not be in the position I am today. I'd like to also thank Dr. James Larson for supporting me in my role in this process. In absentia, Principal Bailey from Evans High School now. He's also supported me along the way. I'd like to also recognize my family, my mother and my father.
Oh, he's in the back. He's waving.
Hey, Principal Bailey. Okay. I'd like to recognize my parents, Lucy and Jose, and my wife, who was unable to make it tonight because she's busy supporting the next round of students in Orange County at Celebration Hospital. Thank you.
Jennifer Olson will be the new assistant principal at Brookshire Elementary.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve the children and families of the Brookshire community. I would like to thank my husband, Rex, my family, and all the teachers and administrators I have had the privilege to work with over the years. I would also like to thank my mentors, Dr. Osborne and Ms. Oates, along with Dr. Diaz, Mr. Wright, Mrs. Smith, and my new principal, Mrs. Mulcrone. I'm very excited to begin my new journey.
Stacy Roberts, principal of Rhines Early Learning and Literacy Center in Lake County, will be the new principal at Pine Lock Elementary.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. I would like to thank 2 of my mentors. One of them is here right now, Mr. John Wright and Dr. Marilyn Doyle. They've been instrumental in supporting me for many years along the way. I'd also like to thank my family, my husband, Rod, and my daughter, Chelsea. They are scattered to the corners of the United States, but they're here in spirit tonight. And I'm looking forward to being part of the team at Pine Lock and working with Dr. Gullett. Thank you for that opportunity.
Brian Sanchez Corona, from resource teacher at Freedom High School to assistant principal at Freedom.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. They say it takes a village, so I have to thank a village very quickly. Ms. Taz Maria Brown, Mr. Rolando Bailey. Without you 2, I wouldn't be here today. Dr. Cupid McCoy, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Douglas Farley, Ms. Cheryl Muir, Ms. Liesel Hernandez, Mr. Robert Walker, Del Valente, the best team. These are the best team of people and professionals you will ever see. Maria Gaspar, Helena Gergoni, Casey Waugh, my mentor, and Cami Miranda. And I'd also like to thank my family, my husband Juan right here, and my brother-in-law and mother. Thank you.
Danielle Spooney, resource teacher at Maxey, to the new assistant principal at Molly Ray Elementary.
Good evening. I would first like to thank Mrs. Schuler and Mrs. Smithstead for allowing me to serve at Molly Ray. I would also like to thank all of my mentors who have provided me guidance along the way, Mrs. Sims, Mrs. Coffey, Dr. Riley, Mrs. Burke, and Ms. Hankerson. Thank you to all my friends for attending. And last but not least, thank you to my family, to my mama, my sister Ashley, daddy, and to my aunties. Thank you for supporting me and praying for me along the way. I love you all.
Victoria Turney, resource teacher at Palmetto, will be the new assistant principal at Palmetto.
Good evening. I want to deeply express my gratitude for the opportunity to continue the work that we've been doing at Palmetto. I would like to thank my mentors, first of all, Dr. Diane Gullett, who launched me into this journey, and also my current principal, Mrs. Meredith Leftakis, as well as those who have always been supportive of me, Mrs. Stephanie Wyka-Cannell, Mrs. Jessica Smith. Also, I heard in the room that Dr. Cuba McCoy, Dr. Harold Border, they've always given me advice, and they've always been a staunch supporter, and I'm truly grateful for that. I would also like to thank my friends who have come and my family, especially my wife, Mary. Through all of this journey, you're so right, she works for free, and I'm so grateful that she's there. So thank you all so much. I look forward to our Palmetto family and doing the work that we do. Thank you.
Robert Vetter, resource teacher at Azalea Park to assistant principal at Little River Elementary.
Thank you for the opportunity to work with the students, the faculty, and parents of Little River. The principal of Little River is here tonight, Wilma Baez. Thank you for your support. My family is also here, so I'd like to say thank you. My wife does get paid from OCPS. She's a first grade teacher, so she's the exception.
Overtime.
Her name is Candy. My son Dylan is here. My dad Keith. My daughter Alyssa. My niece Brooke. My sister-in-law Val. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody from Azalea Park that's back in the back for your support, especially Kelly Maldonado, who has shown me so much about school leadership. Thank you.
Angela Zambrano, resource teacher at Weingard, will be the new assistant principal at Conway Elementary.
Good evening. I'd like to first thank my husband, my family, Sean McGuire, for all of your support. And I see several past great administrators here that I would like to thank. And again, thank you for this opportunity.
Tamara Barton, assistant principal at Lovell Elementary, to be the new principal at Orla Vista.
I would like to say thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to lead and love Orla Vista Elementary. And thank you to my crew that came out and supported me, been there up, down, side to side. Thank you so much. You guys know what I mean. And to my mentors, Mr. Gary and Dr. Pender, you guys have trusted me and provided me plenty of growth opportunities, and I thank you so much. And Mr. Wright, I don't know where you are, but I love you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And Chanu also. And all my other people that came from my school, thank you for supporting me. And my in-laws who have taken me in as my own, their own. Yeah, they're mine too. But thank you for treating me like I'm your own. And to my mom, my dad, my grandparents who have taught me to be fearless and confident and let me know that the sky's the limit and I'm ready to do this. And thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
A lot of volunteers there. Okay. Vanessa DeMars, interim principal at Arbor Ridge, will be the official principal at Arbor Ridge K-8.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to continue to serve the families and children of the Arbor Ridge community. First and foremost, I would like to thank my family that's here with me this evening, my husband and my son Lucas, who have given me so much support in this journey. Also, my brother Francisco, my mother, my sister Veronica, my sister-in-law Nicole, and my Arbor Ridge family that is here supporting me. Last but not least, my mentor and friend, Paige Tracy. I can really say that I've learned from the best, and I'm forever grateful. Thank you, and I look forward to continuing the success of Arbor Ridge. Thank you.
Dennis Gonzalez, Assistant Principal at Bonneville, to be the new principal at Lawton Childs Elementary.
My family couldn't join me tonight, but they know that I love them and I'm so thankful for them. But I would like to thank Ms. Sheehan, the principal at Bonneville, who's helped support me and guide me in the last couple of years. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Michael Mesger, Assistant Principal for Colonial High School.
I would like to thank Dr. Vasquez and the Chief Academic Office. I'd like to thank Dr. Border and the High School Division. I would like to thank Karina Chanu, Matt Turner, Chris Camacho, my in-laws who are here, my mom, my wife, and my daughters.
Stephen Sobasis, Acting Assistant Principal at Wedgefield, will be the Assistant Principal now at Wedgefield School.
Good evening, thank you. I would like to thank my wife, Melissa, my beautiful girls, Anna and Allison. My sister and her kids are here as well, and I'd like to thank them. I would like to thank my mentors who have been my principals. Ms. Stevens, who's here with me now, is our principal here at Wedgefield School, Ms. Tracy, Dr. Wright, and Dr. Barrio, and all of my APs that I've had over the years. Just been a great influence and have led me to where I am today. So I'm thankful for all of those people. Thank you.
Amanda Tipa, Assistant Principal for Lake Nona High School.
I want to thank Dr. Vasquez and the Chief Academic Office. I want to thank Dr. Border and his team for this opportunity. I want to thank my mentors that are with me tonight, Monica Emery and Lisa Tyndall, for always believing in me. I'd like to introduce and thank my family for all their support, my mom and dad who are watching this live from New York, and my husband Dean, who's here with me tonight. Today we actually celebrate our 1-month wedding anniversary, so thank you for being my rock.
Eric Unger, new Assistant Principal at McCoy Elementary.
Good evening. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God. Through him, all things are possible. I'd like to thank Elaine Martinez, principal of McCoy Elementary School, for all your support and guidance this year, and my beautiful and very pregnant wife, who's suddenly a camera person in the back. And thank you to my family. My boys are not here tonight because I'd like to keep the job. Thank you.
And finally, Rebecca Watson, Assistant Principal at Oak Ridge High School, will be the new principal at Walker Middle School.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to serve the students and the community and the staff at Walker Middle School in District 3. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My Orange County Public Schools family is very large. I couldn't possibly thank everyone who's had an influence on me and helped me get to where I am. But everyone that I ever worked with here at the district office, thank you. Over the 10 years, starting with Ron Duvall at Sadler Elementary School many years ago, most recently my Oak Ridge family. I know Ms. Bellinger is here, Dr. Bradshaw, some of my friends that I worked with at Oak Ridge in the back. I have my new friend at Walker, my assistant principal, Mr. Moreno, other family and friends that are here. My husband, Terry, of 25 years. He knows he's in this for free, Dr. Jenkins, so he's good for that. My daughter, Chloe, and she'll be a first-year teacher at Jones High School this fall, so we're very excited to bring her into it. My son, Jeremiah, and my 2 boys, Jacob and Samuel, so thank you very much.
That's it.
Ms. Gobert.
Okay, well, normally I call out the ones in District 3, but there are so many tonight, I'm not going to call you out individually. I'm just going to, one, express my pride and joy in all of you who are in here, for you as you advance in your careers. And I want to tell you about the sense of family that I'm getting in here. It's this giant family tree that keeps growing. And it just reminds me of a word, sayona. I don't know if you know this word, but there's a word in Yiddish. There's no word in English for it, but I think it's appropriate. And the word is mishpucha. And mishpucha means my family's family. So as your family grows, as you marry, as you bring new children and in-laws into the family, they become your family's family or your mishpucha. So it looks to me like we have a whole room of mishpucha, and congratulations to everyone.
Ms. Cadle.
I echo Ms. Cobert's comments. It is a really exciting time, and poor foundation people, I'm sure you're not used to seeing these many people for appointments, but it is such an exciting time for us, and I look forward to working with everyone, and I know we're going to continue to get to great heights because each one of us in this room believes that every child who walks in our doors each and every day deserves a quality education, and as long as we can remember that and remember that a lot of times we're the only people who smile at some of those children during that day, and when they get older, they're going to remember their principal or they're going to remember a teacher, and they were the one who encouraged them or just asked them if they were having a good day. So thank you for all you do for all the students in Orange County Public Schools.
Ms. Gould.
Well, I want to welcome all of the folks to the west and the southwest and back to the west. I got the pleasure my first year in office to work with Mr. Jackson. I'm glad you're back in Orange County. Welcome back, and I'm very excited about the growth, and the growth in West Orange County. So when you talk about family, your family is about to expand exponentially in our schools. But your leadership is key to making sure all those students start that first day of school off on the right foot and end that last day the same way. So thank you so much.
Ms. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, too, just want to welcome everyone and congratulate you on these appointments. It's very exciting, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm. I want you guys to get a good, restful summer so you can hit the ground running when school opens up. But, and I think, Mr. Chair, you've said this before, these appointments are not done lightly. There's so much thought that goes into them, and so I appreciate that you have been selected to be assistant principals and principals, and the superintendent is a very exacting leader, so if you're in that position, it's for a good reason. So congratulations.
First, I'd like to ask the children in this room, you all have been incredibly well behaved. Stand up and take a bow, all the kids. Stand up, guys. Take a bow. I know this isn't quite as good as going to see Wonder Woman, so this is terrific. You sat through this. Is Anaya here still? Where's Anaya? Is she here? Okay, well, happy birthday, Anaya. I was going to ask us to sing her happy birthday, but we'll do it another night. So on behalf of the board, let me just echo what my colleagues have said. Congratulations, family members and friends of these newly appointed administrators. You should be incredibly, incredibly proud of your family members and of your friends. I always like to say that this appointment really signifies one very simple word, and that word is trust. It means that this board and this administration trust your educational leadership abilities. It means that we trust your judgment. Perhaps most importantly, it means that we trust you with the future of our community, our children. And for that, you all should be very, very proud. So with that, we're going to pause to allow you to leave. And Mrs. Gordon would like to say something? Okay. And we're going to turn over to Mrs. Gordon, who's appeared by telephone with us tonight, and then we're going to pause and allow you all to head home. It's not a school night, so I do expect you to buy ice cream for the kids. You can curse me later. Mrs. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What a great leadership team, Dr. Jenkins. I must say hats off to you. I can feel the enthusiasm through the telephone. The biggest thing that I noted tonight was that they were trained by some awesome mentors. And to show you how trained they are, most of the mentors are there with them. So I say congratulations to all tonight. I look forward to working with you to make sure that we take our weakest link to the highest level. If you do not work with your weakest link, you will always be weak. So remember, It's about the children. Get the weakest link up, and I guarantee you, you will be successful. Congratulations to all of you tonight. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Gordon. And again, congratulations. We're going to pause at this time. Thank you for coming down here tonight. All right. Everybody could grab a seat. Let's go ahead and get on with our regular meeting.
My kids are going to get a winter park. We're living with that.
BoardDocs is up. Thank you, Miss Cato. She did. She had to fly to New York, and Dr. Jar's going to capably fill in. Thank you, Dr. Jar. All right. Yeah. So we are on 2.02, our strategic plan update, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Jara to introduce our strategic plan update. Dr. Jara.
Thank you, Chairman, and I'll quickly turn it over to our Chief Communications Officer and President of the Orange County Public Schools Foundation, Mr. Howitt.
Thank you, Dr. Jara. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, the strategic plan update is about a strategic plan. It's about the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools strategic plan. As part of the process we've been going through, we've really attempted to bring closer alignment to the district through and restructure through, and there's been a lot of great work that's been going on over the last 9 months. And I'm here today to share an update on where we are and as far as our strategic plan and what our plan is moving forward. At this time, I would like to take an opportunity to recognize our current chairman, Orman Yielding, just to say a few words. I know that, Mr. Chair, you introduced Debbie Clements, who is our incoming chair before, and she had to leave, but certainly we're excited about her coming on board, but I'd like to turn it over to Orman briefly just to give a few words.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all of our school board members. My name is Ormond Yielding, and at this time I would ask each of you to write down how you think that is spelled. Okay, I'm kidding. The truth is, okay. Well, no. You see, the thing is, you're all winners because I accept a number of spellings. So there's over the years. I have been board chair for the Foundation of Orange County Public Schools, which is the 501c3 charitable organization whose sole mission is to support Orange County Public Schools for the past 2 years now. And part of this strategic plan discussion really is a smaller part of a larger thing that's happened over the past couple of years, which you all know about already. And that is 1 year ago, basically 1 year ago, our foundation board voted to approve a merger of our foundation with the district's internal philanthropy department. And it was about 1 year ago today, at this meeting, I came here to thank this board for approving from the district side the merger of the district's philanthropy department into the foundation under the leadership of Scott Howitt and Debbie Pedraza, as Scott Howitt as president of the foundation and Debbie as the senior director of the foundation. And so part of our strategic plan, one of the things I want to do first was just to give you kind of a recap over the past year of some things that we have seen as a foundation board. The first is that I'm going to speak for Scott and Debbie here just for a moment, and I think what they would tell you is that upon kind of taking over the leadership, that they found that they were taking over the leadership of a very well-run organization that had very strong financials and very strong financial controls. But I can tell you that as part of the foundation board, that what we have found over the years, over the past year, is that a lot of our dreams have come true, and that Debbie and Scott have really thrown themselves into learning about our foundation and really figuring out ways to maximize our ability to achieve our mission, which is to channel community resources for the benefit of Orange County Public Schools teachers and students, and to really with a true focus on student achievement. I'll tell you, every meeting that I had with Scott and Debbie, and every executive meeting or just phone call or anything like that, it's almost been just a fire hose of ideas about different ways to leverage district resources for the benefit of our foundation so that we can better achieve our mission. A couple things, part of the strategic planning process that we undertook as a board to say, now that we have this new structure, what's the best way to optimize that so that we are meeting and achieving our mission on behalf of the teachers and students of OCPS. And we got a lot of input from the community, got a lot of input from stakeholders, including donors. And one thing I can report back to you is that when we talked to donors about the restructure that we undertook last year, we've got a lot of positive feedback, mostly surrounding the area of that makes a lot of sense. It was kind of our idea in the first place. So we had always, even when we were separate organizations, we had a similar mission. But it took some explaining to donors, and so now they're very glad that we don't have to explain that anymore. So we're getting a lot of positive feedback from donors. We also looked to a lot of stakeholders that included district leadership, also teachers, and staff of OCPS and donors within the community when we had put together kind of a shell of our strategic plan and got some feedback from them. And it was really heartening to see how much feedback we were getting, particularly from teachers and staff of OCPS, who really took it to heart and gave us some really good feedback, which we were able to incorporate into some of our decisions with the strategic plan. So the bottom line is that we are really excited, as speaking for the Foundation Board. We're very excited about the future, and we're very excited about what's going to be possible over the coming years, including next year under the leadership of Debbie Clements of Duke Energy. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Scott to give us some more details about the strategic plan.
Sure. Thank you, Orman. Thanks for your leadership over the last year and your dedication to the children of Orange County. Let me just want to take a few minutes to share with you some of the details through the process. I've been very excited to be part of the effort as being president of the foundation. We have an outstanding board, as Orman has mentioned. We have an outstanding staff. The staff of the foundation works very hard every day to accomplish the mission, and it was very important for us to go through this strategic refresh process. Let me go ahead and kind of walk you through the process. So beginning in August of last year, we engaged Midtown Consulting Group, met with Carl Nebel several times in August and September. This is the same firm that facilitated your strategic plan and walked you through the original as well as the refresh. In October, Midtown discussed its proposal and a strategic overview of how they thought the process would be laid out. And on December 1st, the Foundation Board approved the strategic plan process to move forward. We began our work with Jessica Guthrie of Midtown Consulting and Gar Williams to review the Foundation's existing strategic plan, which you see here, to go over all of the vision, the mission, the values, the goals, and determine where the foundation currently was under that strategic plan and where it needed to go to be more aligned with the district plan. This is again what the strategic plan map looked like for it. Now, this is your strategic plan. So we, in January, we began to take this strategic plan and looking at the current foundation strategic plan and seeing where we can merge those two. In January, Jessica conducted 13 in-depth interviews with some key stakeholders, both internal and external, to the district, when it came to getting some feedback on where we needed to go, what that looked like. Mr. Chair, you were interviewed by Jessica during that time period. Dr. Jenkins was as well. We had several folks that were identified who we knew would understand the mission of Orange County Public Schools and the vision of where we wanted to go or where we needed to go as a foundation. In January, through those interview stakeholder process, the strategic planning task force actually met, was assembled in January. met 4 times during during January. It was made up, the task force was made up equally of new members to the foundation, as well as seasoned or experienced members on the foundation, in order to try to get a balance of where we needed to go and moving forward. They met in 4 marathon sessions, January 26th, February 16th, March 8th, and March 28th. We completed a SWOT analysis first at our first meeting. We went through strengths, weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, walked through those, had a full day session over what we saw as we were looking at these two strategic plans and bringing that alignment forward. We actually moved through the process of talking about the deliverables. Really the key and where we wanted to start was with our purpose. What did that look like? Why did the foundation exist? Why do we give? Why do others give? Looking at purpose then drove us aligning the mission and vision to the district vision and mission, as well as the values and differentiators. We worked to align those so that there was clear articulation across both of those. We worked through our objectives and goals. We decided that there were 6 clear areas that emerged with kind of an overarching goal when we looked at it. And this is a draft of our strategic plan, the first one that we went through. But looking at our objectives, what are they? Our first objective, our main objective that we saw through the process was invest in student achievement. So what do we need to do that? Optimize the donor experience, engage and invest in students. That means to improve ways to thank, retain, and report outcomes to donors. Increase giving amongst individuals. That means employees, alumni, and parents. Drive community connections and collaboration. Focus on the collaborative partnerships, the collective impact with corporations, foundations. That's a big part of what we talked about. Identifying student priorities. We know that there's needs, there's priorities throughout the district. Those have to be looked at and examined, and how can we address those in order to support that investment in student achievement. That could include piloting programs when appropriate, or trying to be that innovative arm for the district. Enhance funds under management, develop a formal stewardship program, work to grow the number and size of endowments, cultivate school funds, support more schools and other district funds. Maximize operational efficiency, improve our data management, staffing, resources. We've made some changes that you'll see coming forward as far as leveraging some of the resources within the communications division to help strengthen our philanthropic outreach to the community. Amplify our brand and story. What's our story? The district has outstanding stories. We have outstanding stories of how we support students through Read to Succeed, through teacher grants, through our philanthropic strategic plan. How do we tell those stories? How do we get those stories out to the public? Those are all part of the goals and objectives moving forward. Just a few of the key initiatives that we've been talking about and discussing, and that will start ramping up this summer as we start looking forward. Developing a formal stewardship program. That's one of the key things. Looking at the PSP and looking at updating, expanding what we're doing within the PSP. Creating a fund in the box for quick startup. More effective school and department funds coming in with the foundation. How can we support them raising money and being able to provide what they need for their students? Building a strong marketing plan for the foundation that will help to amplify that story I talked about. April, May, we went through the process as Orman talked about. Once we had approved the draft, we took that 80% completed draft and we socialized it. We sent it out through a variety of different avenues. We had about 1,000 individuals that were touched by the draft plan, and we had quite a bit of feedback. The overarching feedback that we received, and you can see how it's reflected here, is invest in student achievement. That became the top priority. That was the goal, the overarching that drove everything. At one point, invest in student achievement was including it in the 6, and through discussion with the foundation and looking at a lot of the feedback, we went right into focus and made that kind of the overarching goal. You have a copy of this in front of you. As Orman likes to call it, the placemat, where, but it's in front of you and it reflects exactly what you see on the screen. The moving forward, the final version of this was approved by the Foundation Board on June 1st. We are ready to move forward. Jessica Guthrie actually presented the final version. We're going to begin working on our scorecard, those goals and measures that tie back to the strategic plan, those things that we can point to and look at moving forward that says, yes, we're moving the needle. We're making a difference. We're investing in student achievement. So we'll be working with Midtown Consulting on developing our scorecard items, and we'll be bringing those back to the foundation board in August when we meet with them. So that's where we are. I'm very excited to be involved in this. The foundation is growing. Their family is growing. Our reach is growing. I think if you look at the market differentiators that are in there, what we want to be is the one-stop shop for investing in student achievement, for investing in our children. We want to be able to offer the ability for those that want to give back to children, to come in and we want to be that driver, be the person that can help, be the group that can help facilitate that. We are the philanthropic arm of the school district, and we need to get that out. We need to make that part of our story, and we need to amplify that and make sure, and that's happening. We are very excited about the contacts we're making and the outreach from some of the other organizations to want to partner and move forward in some outstanding collaboration. So I'm very excited about this. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Jara and be happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Jara?
Chairman will take your questions and listen to your discussion.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Jara. Ms. Cato?
I'm really excited at what I see and the work that's gone on into it. And one of the things that Orman didn't say, do you have 4 in Orange County Public Schools right now or only 3?
3 now, 4 eventually.
Yeah, so
That's because I've got a 3-year-old, that's it.
But so what we love is not only is he a community partner, but his children are our students. And you know, that speaks volumes when we have community leaders that are willing to invest the future of their children in our schools and the work that we're doing. So I want to thank you for being a champion for public schools and for having your children experience the offerings we have. So thanks for all the hours you have given to Orange County Public Schools and the foundation to make us better.
Thank you, and I will make one other point that you would be, or maybe you won't be surprised about how many of our board members are alumni of Orange County Public Schools and doing great things in the community, and this is one of the ways that they choose to give back. And so that speaks a great deal about this.
And that, you know, that's exciting, and we all live in different parts of the county, and so many of the children who graduated with my children, because my children are now having children and they're going into school, they come back to the neighborhood where they were educated. They come back to the schools where they have really good memories of going there. And it's one thing that I think is a differentiator for Orange County Public Schools, because there are so many generational families that sometimes some of our children that are in our schools are third or fourth generation coming to Orange County Public Schools. So it speaks volumes to the commitment that not only the superintendent and her staff, but our community has to saying the children of our community are important, public schools are important, the 1 mil, the half penny. It just shows that this community cares deeply. And as we're coming off of the love is love is love and all of the talk about pulse and how this community kind of defined itself after that terrible tragedy, I think the school system is also a place that defines it's a safe place for children. It's a good place to have your children. And so I'm just proud of all of the work we've done. But Orman, thank you so much.
Ms. Gould.
I too wanted to thank Orman for his leadership, whether it was serendipity or divine intervention, that he was in the chair position when this really came to a head to happen, this new alignment. He has been a tremendous, supportive, open leader, because it would have been just as easy to say, you know, not on my watch. But he stepped up to not only do the right thing, but to help us excel. One of the things that really, one of the many things that excites me about this plan is it is giving us a vehicle to keep people engaged in a way that we haven't before. And while the foundation has been there, it hasn't had enough on-ramps to kind of get everybody engaged in coming through the foundation and staying connected to Orange County Public Schools all the way through their careers and maybe their lives, is what we hope. So I'm really, really excited, because when you start to really look at the placemat, you'll see that commitment to investing in student achievement is really that. It becomes a lifelong partnership, and you have that ability to stay with us forever and continue to support, you know, your home community. The other thing that is that I can kind of see, because I bridge multiple philanthropic and corporate communities, is now there is a buzz and desire to want to align with the foundation and the school district, and also to start to nominate people to our board. And one of our under-the-radar agendas was to really look at how we attract people into those leadership roles now. And so I think the way that this was led and handled has set us up to be in a position of, quite frankly, being very selective about who is on our board, and making sure that they can really commit to the investments that are needed, and that's the right role. We have all levels of roles for investment, but that would be the right role for them. So it's really was a very, very exciting time to be there, and I'm so glad I got to be part of it. So congratulations, and thank you for the vision and being very, very open to everything over the last, it's been a little more than a year, but thank you.
Well, let me echo that. Orman, thank you for everything you've done. I just love hearing you talk. You missed your calling. You should be a professional ring announcer or a sidekick on a late-night talk show, because you just have the most melodious voice I've ever heard. And Scott, thank you for flying this plane and landing it for us, and Debbie as well. And Ms. Scroggins, you've been there from the beginning, and I don't think you get recognized enough because you've been a constant and you do so much hard work on behalf of the foundation, so thank you for that. And Pam, thank you. And we're very excited about the strategic plan, and we're very excited about the direction the foundation has taken. And I'm especially excited about the caliber of people that you've got on your board now and that you're attracting. And I saw some numbers the other day about the increases in foundation funds under investment and under management, local school foundation funds under management by our overall OCPS foundation. So we're definitely on the right trajectory, and we're very, very proud of all of you all in the the work you've done. So thank you very much.
Can I ask one question? What is that date we're supposed to mark our calendars for the golf tournament? It's got to be coming.
September 22nd.
September 22nd.
I
So
had to look at Tawana for a second.
September 22nd.
September
It's a
22nd
fun
is
time
the-
to be out there to
the
thank
golf.
everyone who commits.
And the slate of foundation board members is part of the consent agenda for tonight, so it's 4.01, so that'll
Okay.
be approved tonight.
Dr. Jar, anything else? Before we go on? All right, thank you, Mr. Howlett. Appreciate it. Norman, thank you. All right, let me make a preliminary announcement. Any individual who would like to address an item on our consent or our non-consent agenda may do so by completing a yellow speaker form at the board table. You can get that form from Ms. McGill, who's at the far left-hand side of the dais. When that agenda item comes up, I will call on you to speak on the item you have signed up before the board. You'll have at that point 3 minutes to address the board on that agenda topic. We are joined today, you heard her earlier, by Mrs. Gordon. She phoned in, so thank you, Mrs. Gordon, for being so diligent and phoning in, and Mrs. Robinson is out of town today. Dr. Jar, do we have any changes to our agenda this evening?
We do, Chairman, 2 changes. Withdrawn item 8.02 and moving 4.01 to non-consent 17.01 for recusal of a board member due to her son's summer internship. So
Okay.
that becomes 17.01.
Thank you, Dr. Jar. I find cause to amend the agenda as requested. Can I entertain a motion to do so? It's been moved by Ms. Gould. Is there a second to that? Seconded by Ms. Cadle. Is there any debate or discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the agenda adopted. All right, we are now on agenda item 3.01. We do have a number of public hearings. Dr. Jar.
Chairman, 3.01, and I'd like to remind the board that all 3 items and policies have come before the board with workshop items. So is requests approval of board policy or IHEM local school wellness.
All right. Let me just reiterate something Dr. Jar said, because I'm always surprised, pleasantly so, how many people watch this at home. By the time these revisions to our board policies have come before us, we have thoroughly vetted them in a rule development workshop. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of discussion up here at the board table. That's because we've already vetted these changes. So, board members, before I entertain a motion, any questions on the proposed changes to policy IHAM, which is our school wellness policy? All right, can I entertain a motion to adopt those policy revisions? It's been moved by Vice Chair Cobert. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Gordon. Any debate or discussion of that motion? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cato, for reminding me. Before I take a vote on the motion, has anybody come tonight to testify before us on the proposed revisions to school board policy IHAM, our local school wellness policy? All right, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the policy revisions adopted. All right, we're now on 3.02 and 3.03. Dr. Jara.
Chairman, and both 3.02 and 3.03 is, one is the code of conduct, and then the second one, 3.03, is the revisions to the code of conduct for 17-18 school year. And General Counsel recommended we can take both of them together as one.
Okay.
Chairman.
Has any member of the public come tonight to testify before us on either agenda item 3.02 or 3.03, which are revisions to the Code of Student Conduct? All right, seeing none, can I entertain a motion to take up en banc the 2 agenda items, 3.02 and 3.03, as one vote, or to approve them? Thank you, Mrs. Cato. Is there a second to that? Second. It's been seconded by Vice Chair Cobert. Any debate or discussion of that motion? All right, all those in favor of the proposed revisions as reflected in 3.02 and 3.03, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show that motion adopted. All right, board members, we are now on the consent agenda. I will say before I entertain a motion to take up the consent agenda at 4.01, you will see the newly appointed board of directors for the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools. So you may want to take a look at that. Again, it's an impressive list, so thank you. With that, can I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda? been moved by Ms. Cadle, seconded by Ms. Flynn. Is there any debate or discussion of that motion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the consent agenda adopted. All right, Dr. Jar, I think we're now on 17.01, which is the one item. And, let me point out as well that we renewed the chart or extended it for Orlando Science? Extended it.
Extended.
Yeah, they're on. Yeah, they're ready. Okay, Dr. Jar was going to say something, but on our way out.
Chairman, 17.01 is the request of the Board of Directors for the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools that has been moved to 17.01. And as my notes is due to the one of our board members' summer internship of her son.
If you don't mind, Dr. Jar, can I call on Mr. Rodriguez on this as well?
Please.
My impression was, go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Well, Mr. Chair, members of the board, in this particular item, there is one individual who's been appointed for an internship along with a number of others. Because that individual happens to be the son of Ms. Gould, then she has to abstain from voting pursuant to Florida statutes, and that's just all it is. And that there's nothing there that inures to her benefit directly, but under the statute, she'll fill out the form, submit it, and as would any other board member, it's permissible just with that candid disclosure for the public. So.
Okay, and I apologize, Dr. Jar. You said it correctly. It was my misunderstanding, actually. Do you need to read into the record a statement, Ms. Gould?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pursuant to Section 112.3143 Florida statutes, I am abstaining from voting in my official capacity on item 1701 due to a conflict which would result in a gain to my son, a relative as defined under the Florida statutes.
Okay. So with that, can I entertain a motion to adopt agenda item 17.01 with the abstention
Move the
by Ms.
adoption.
Gould? It's been moved by Mrs. Gordon. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Cover. Is there any debate or discussion of that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show it adopted unanimously. All right. Yeah, Ms. Gould, please.
Most of you know, my son is the great beneficiary of an Orange County Public School education, and he was dual enrolled with Mid-Florida on the Mid-Florida campus of our OTEC college, and got certifications in computer science, including A+ networking. And he and several other of our OCPS students, for the first time, will be doing an internship and applying what they have learned to be able to build their resumes and also help us as we roll out our digital media. So I am thrilled to see our students moving forward and getting access to life experience, and that we're taking advantage of the great teachings and certifications they're getting right in our own programs. So I just wanted to share that this, while it's a little internship, it's the first time there's been these kinds of internships done with this group of people and this group of students. So it's really pretty exciting as we career path kids into our workforce.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's been a passion of yours, and I think it's wonderful that your own son is one of the leaders of this effort, one of the pathfinders. That's terrific, Ms. Gould. Terrific. You should be very proud of them. All right. Board members, we are on report by District General Counsel. District General Counsel. Did Ms. Kokatis leave? Did Vivian leave? I was going to say something to her.
I don't see her in the back.
I'll let you sing her praises.
Board members, we have a couple of items to update you on. First, next Thursday at 1:30 p.m. in this very room, you'll have your opportunity to have an exceptions hearing. It's an exciting opportunity to hear testimony from the union, as well as Mr. Palmerini. He'll be representing the school board. And we did have a meeting this afternoon with the two attorneys to explain process, and we're essentially following the same procedures we had before. Each side will get 15 minutes to do an opening, up to 15 minutes. They don't have to use the entire time. And then they'll go through each of the exceptions, 5 minutes for each side. You will then deliberate and enter a motion to either accept or deny that particular exception. We will have all of those documents, information for you within the next couple of days available for your review, and as well as a memo on the process, particularly for not only the new members that haven't had an exceptions hearing in the past, but for those of you, it's been a little bit since we've had one. So we'll explain that process with some correspondence coming your way in the next couple of days. On the really exciting front is the town of Eatonville and Up Development. The town last night approved an amendment, or at least the contract with Up Development, for a total of $16 million. As you may recall, the amount previously was $18,250,000, I think, for the RFP as submitted, but due to some negotiations between the town and the developer, they came back with that figure. You will be receiving an amendment, our sixth amendment to the contract, next board meeting, because the one thing they did ask was that the amount be reduced for the school board's contribution, or the school board's portion, from $10.3 million to $10 million even. And the chairman, who has been delegated, your representative in this capacity, and I consulted, and he gave it the green light. So at this point, I don't need a motion yet because it'll be coming back as an agenda item in 2 weeks. But just know that right now things are looking very positive. They intend to maintain the same schedule for completion, meaning the amendment next board meeting will not necessarily change the current timeframes. They may just adjust them, but they'll have to go through their due diligence, et cetera. And they will have a $100,000 deposit that will be non-refundable as of today because of the new contract, and another $100,000 that is non-refundable in 90 days. So the more money that gets poured into the project by the developer, the more and more likelihood of success that you'll see the contract be finalized. They will work with the town, of course, to solidify certain entitlements to the property, and we're working with the town to annex the remaining portions that need to be annexed. But as I've been using football analogies, I think we're first and goal on the 8-yard line with a pretty good chance of success. So we'll see.
And what I was alluding to is we also, and by the way, congratulations. I know you've worked very hard on that, Mr. Rodriguez, on our behalf, so thank you. And we have a new staff attorney on board.
Well, you guys approved her a couple weeks ago, and Vivian Kokodas has been with us now for at least 2 or 3 weeks. We also have, I don't know if she's still here, Sarah Kopeski is right out of law school. We hired her about a month ago. Both of them, as well as our other lawyers this past week, got to go to FSBAA in St. Augustine, and where we learned about the legislative changes as they were developing, how the budget was being approved on the spot with Joy Frank, who gives a great summary of those proceedings. And, as I told Ms. Cadle just a little bit ago, we had some questions about who doesn't really like their board, or who's got a dysfunctional board, I think was the way the question was posed. And our Orange County folks didn't raise their hand, because I think we do have a very good board. I mean, especially when you hear horror stories of meetings from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. in other jurisdictions. So we are grateful, so thank you.
The little things in life, isn't it, Mr. Rodriguez? All right, Dr. Jara, Superintendent's
Can
report.
I comment on that?
Oh, yes, Ms. Cadle, I'm sorry.
Well, and I know, Mr. Rodriguez, when we first talked to you about coming to join us, one of the things that we asked was that you participate in the School Board Attorneys Association, because it is such a good time to share different issues. And so I'm just always so excited when I hear that your staff attorneys are going with you and you're able to have those rich dialogues of, here are some of the issues that are coming up, or this is an issue that came up for us and this is how we dealt with it. So I know sometimes it takes you away from your family on weekends and things, but I would just want to tell you, I really appreciate that you're involved in it, and you really are seen as a leader of the attorneys throughout the state, and they come to him for ethics a lot, and so, thank you.
Amen. I could not agree more. Thank you, Ms. Cadle. All right, Dr. Jara.
Chairman, I'll be brief in my remarks for the superintendent. Just wanted to echo the comments, Ms. Cato, and our general counsel. And I'd like to really thank Mr. Woody Rodriguez for his donation to the foundation, for going over his allotted time at the superintendent summit. And he did make the donation immediately that afternoon. So that would be my report. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'd like to comment on his report, too.
Okay.
In case you haven't looked at your agenda for FSBA, he's a rock star with the leadership group that Linda just finished, and Jesus was invited to come back and come and present about what we're doing with gifted screening and the PSAT and all of those great things we're doing for children learning. And Executive Director Messina asked Dr. Jara if he would come present it to the school boards because she was so impressed. So Dr. Jara is presenting a session on Thursday. It's being repeated twice about what we're doing. And so we're just proud of you that you're out there talking about what we've been doing.
Thank you for making us look good, Dr. Jara, always. All right, we're in committee reports. Ms. Gould, did you have a communications report? Ms. Gould.
We had a communications committee meeting this afternoon and reviewed a number of items. One of the items was how we will communicate what has happened in the legislative session, and also a strategy around the fact versus myth or fiction that you did at your State of the Schools, because that was such an effective, and we want to make sure we continue to send that out in nuggets and continue to educate the community on that. We also began discussion about, which really leaped off of the legislative session and the budget, the 1 mil and going forward, and what do we need to do in the current environment in order to make sure that we can continue on the accelerated path of investing in our students and making sure every student is successful. So stay tuned to hear a little bit more on the strategy side on that. And then we talked about some communication training for board members as well, whether it be crisis or just in general, especially as we may have some new board members coming on in the next few years, and maybe making that also part of the orientation as board members come on. But doing something in the short term for existing board members if they would like to do that. There's some staff training going on, and we thought it would be nice to have some on camera, some just general messaging, articulation, and how to handle whether you're on the spot with the press or you're on the spot in a community meeting, and knowing how to handle that as best as you can. Kind of sharpen the saw for some of us and get new tricks of the trade for others. So I think that was just about everything. There's also a Community Action Board committee report attached in BoardDocs already from the past meeting, and the items for the upcoming meeting. So we'll have that report available as well.
Thank you. Ms. Flynn, legislative.
Thank you. We had a legislative committee meeting last week, and we started just sort of thinking about priorities and platform items for the coming school year and session for 2018. Because committee meetings start early, we're really trying to get this wrapped up by August. Two of the items that we sort of batted around, performance pay, wraparound services. There was one more, I can't remember what it was, but you're just starting to stir the soup. On the 22nd of this month, we'll have a work session, and Cody Woody and Eileen Fernandez will give us the briefing on all the legislation up and down. It is expected that the governor will sign House Bill 7069, which is a pretty significant piece of legislation that could have an impact. So I think once that, if it is signed into law, that then we'll need to look at the ramifications of that bill on a lot of our services.
Thank you for all your work on legislative. All right. Any policy level issues or future agenda items you'd like us to address, guys? So I've handed out the work session schedule. We do have that legislative update on the 22nd. Mrs. Gordon, do you have anything you want us to address before we move on?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for calling in, Ms. Gordon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Okay, I do have one that I just want to throw it out there. I'm going to ask the superintendent to get it on our calendar for a fall work session. And I want to get you all thinking about it, and I'd like to ask you to take a little initiative. I'm sure staff will come around and talk to you about it, but I do want us to have at least a discussion, and I want to emphasize I don't really have a position yet, a solid position yet. But I do want us to have a discussion on the timing of payment of CEA impact fees. It's an issue that's been brewing out there for a while. I think it's going to, I'll give you a heads up, probably lead to a little bit of a passionate discussion on the board, but it's a conversation I want us to have. Right now, CEA impact fees are paid at the submittal of plating, and the issue becomes, should they be paid then or should they be paid at the time of pulling the permits? For the actual construction. So I have a feeling from the nodding of head around the table that y'all have been approached on this issue. A number of you have at least, and I think it's a discussion we need to have. What's that? Well, and that's why I'm finally doing a work session on it, because it's year 3 or 4 that I've been approached about it, and I just decided it's time that we discuss the issue. So I'm also lining up the fall work session schedule, so please, any topics that you want on there, please get with Ms. McGill and let her know that so we can get them calendared. You know, I think I brought, let me throw this out there. I did bring it. Good. I remembered to throw it in my packet. I do know that we already have the board retreat scheduled for August 24th. We do not have a location picked yet, so if you have somewhere really cool you want us to go, let me know. But August 24th, which I believe is a Thursday, from 4 to 8:30 will be our annual retreat. And then one of you asked for a work session on future educators magnet and teacher incentives. So that is lined up for September 21st. Another of you has asked for a work session on CTE instructors and counseling, so that is lined up for October 5th. And then we have a number of policy revision, rule development workshops lined up, one on August 15th, one on August 31st, one on September 19th, one on October 3rd, and another on October 17th. So as part of Mr. Rodriguez's department's ongoing review of our policies, they've been at it hard, and we have, it looks like, a good 2 or 3 dozen policy revisions to consider in the fall. So whatever other topics you want agendaed, in addition to the usual ones that we do every year, let me know that as soon as you can, please. Okay? All right. Anything else? We're to go to the order. All right. We're adjourned.